All right. Good evening, everyone. This is let me get this microphone a little closer. This is the CSRN, our weekly podcast or our weekend review, where we come to you live and talk about some of the things we've done last week, some of the things that we got that we're working on right now, and some of the things that we got planned coming up. Jody, what I'm going to do right now, we're going to put a 5-minute timer up
so that see all the behind the scenes stuff,
so that everybody can tell your friend that we're live. Hey, let's put some music on too.
Yep. No copyright.
No copyright, not today. All right, we are back. This is the CSRN, our weekly podcast or our weekend review, where we come to you live and we talk about some of the things that we've done last week. You know what, Jody? I'm working on my ums. I saw a YouTube video today that talked about adding those ums, and I'm taking them out by just making a pause. And whatever else I'm going to say, I already know, so I'm not going to do those connectors. I'm going to try not to. Hey, I'm Brother Washington Muhammad. I use the pronouns he and him. I'm also a registered and active member of the Nation of Islam here in Toledo, and one of the co-founders of CSRN, along with Mike Leonardi and Jabril Bey. 7 years ago, they had an idea that regular people can speak truth to power. They don't necessarily have to be pastors, professionals, or politicians. They can just have something to say, and all they need is a microphone or a bullhorn that we have.
Yeah.
Today, if you're visually impaired, or you're listening to us on Spotify or YouTube, and you're not watching us because you're driving, you shouldn't do that. Today, I've got on a black shirt. I've got my brown rim glasses on and pretty good shave. And as always, I'm dedicated to respecting, protecting, and defending all Black bodies, no matter the cost, no matter the gains or loss. This is the headquarters of Black Lives Matter and Justice or Else. And Jody, before I get to you, I wanted to just say something about the mass shooting at Club Q in Colorado Springs, Colorado. When we open up, we talk about all Black lives matter, queer Black lives, trans Black lives, and that's our families. So when one of us hurt, all of us hurt. None of us are free until all of us are free, and that's also free of violence. And a big ups to our conscious community, our activist community, our community that continues to resist. I think that we had a activity or protest gathering yesterday. So, whenever we decide to pull our resources together and promote peace, promote love, that's what's going to get us over. All right. Hey, so I did my little thing there. All right. So peace to everybody that Equality Toledo, Vera Lucia, Sheena, man, I'm forgetting my guy that's the councilman. Nick Comives. All right. That means that whenever I forget your name, you owe me some money. All right. So you can check in, Nick, at any time. Hey, look, Jody, if I can take it to you, who are you? What are you wearing?
What's up, everybody? Jody J. Summers, child of the system, better known as Spoken Truth. So I'm the treasurer of this wonderful organization for all these years that we've been going on through everything, the ups and downs and protest and non-protest and taking offices and doing stuff for the community. I'm the guy that cuts the check for all those people that's out there like, hey, that shirt and that saying you're wearing means that these people, and I'm like, it's an idea.
That's right.
A lot of people take ideas and turn them into problems. I don't think Black Lives Matter or anything was ever a problem. It was a message to the voiceless who never got heard, and then it just become corporatized. When you corporatize anything or turn it into a cog, you are not helping your people. You are just getting money.
Okay,
money's only numbers. It doesn't care about you or anybody else. It's just a number. So for those of you listening again on Spotify or Instagram,
talk that talk. All right, man. All right now. Okay.
You see a lot of stuff. And again, I wish I could have been there yesterday, just getting off of work, trying to do stuff. I got the messages. I was headed back.
Yeah.
And it takes me about an hour to move around the city adequately. So I wasn't able to make it, but I did see it on Channel 11. Shout out to, again, Sheena, Nick Comives, Vera Lucia, everybody that did take the time out to go show up for them. Again, it's another mass shooting, another hate crime, and I think the person lived again. So, but enough of that. For those of you out there listening to YouTube, or Spotify, or on Facebook Live, because you shouldn't be driving and watching us and stuff like that. I'm a big brown bear of a man that is covered in tattoos, and crystals, and stones, and bones, and artifacts, and pieces of me that I've gained from being just that guy on the street.
That's right.
To learning how to speak to people and how to listen to people through protesting and activism. So now the clothing that I wear, the hat is my own, birthed out of what I decided to do to give some history to the life I was living. And the shirt that I'm wearing, of course, is ours. You never see it because of all these chains and crystals.
Yeah, you do got a couple
stuff on.
Got a couple extra ones today. All right.
Just a couple, a little CSRN is the newest one. Make sure that when people come and see me, they see me correctly instead of just seeing things.
All right.
But yeah, that's in a nutshell who I am: poet, actor, filmmaker, elected official, run nonprofits, do as much as I can without losing myself or without making it a handicap. A lot of people take activism or speaking out for people as an excuse not to fix their own lives.
Okay.
As an excuse not to understand their own trauma. And again, we're all human. We're all frail in that sense of sometimes it feels good to be out there doing something for everybody else, but you're behind on your rent. Relationship is bad. You ain't talked to your parents in years, and you should. So don't use activism as a crutch. Don't use helping people as a crutch to stop you from fixing your own life. And that's my little message for the day.
We had some little extra there, but that's all right. That's all good, brother.
So for those of you out there that are starting a nonprofit or business or anything of the such where you're not clocking in to pay somebody else's kid's graduation, this is how you do it. You come up with a foundation, and I know I'm tapping the table, but you come up with a foundation, something that you can hold on to when the cards get low, when people walk out on you or people just are just not around. You have to have some type of foundation. This is part of our foundation. It's our mission statement, and I'm thankful that we have it. So let's begin. We are the Community Solidarity Response Network of Toledo, formed on November 25th, 2014, the day after it was announced that the killer, a Ferguson, Missouri police officer, of Michael Brown, an unarmed teenager, would not be indicted. We bring awareness to the injustices experienced by Black men, women, and children who are disproportionately murdered, attacked, provoked, and harassed by law enforcement. Police brutality has to end. We bring awareness to the fact that most often, police brutality goes without consequence or accountability. Police impunity has to end. We utilize the tactics of protest, civil disobedience, event disruption, and citizen advocacy to give voice to those who are otherwise voiceless. We facilitate progressive, community-based events that help foster self-development, and we discuss measures to hold local leadership accountable to their sworn duties, be they politician, clergy, law enforcement, educators, etc., etc. We want justice, equal justice under the law. We want justice applied equally to all, yes, all, regardless of class, creed, or color. For all lives to matter, Black lives, yes, Black lives must matter. Injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere. Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King, Jr.
All right, thank you, Jody. That was our mission statement. We're going to get into our guiding principles. You know what, we had a chance to have our elder give us permission to start today. Since I'm old as dirt.
He's excited because he's not the oldest person in the room.
All right. So we've got our brother Baba Rahwae Shuman. He's off camera right now. Brother, do we have permission to start? All right, so it's always beautiful to recognize our elders when they're in the room, and it's just a beautiful thing to have. I'm kind of happy today.
He's the one that gave me this little mask right here, and the mask that jingles when I walk. So,
right. So if you ever got ran up on by Jody, you can thank Brother Rahwae for that. All right, that you got a warning. All right, these are our guiding principles. This is what keeps us together as a grassroots organization, and I don't even know if we could call it an organization, but it is what it is.
We're a group of people that care.
it's hard with the personalities and, different backgrounds to keep us grounded. And this is what keeps us grounded. These are our CSRN guiding principles. All Black lives matter, queer Black lives, trans Black lives, formerly and presently incarcerated Black lives, poor working class Black lives, differently able Black lives, Black men and women's lives, immigrant Black lives, Black elderly and children lives. All Black lives matter and are the creators of this space. We throw no one under the bus. We rise together. Ashe?
Ashe.
And that means one who changes a thing or one who makes a thing happen. Hey, we're going to be talking about Kwanzaa in a minute. So, hey, the vibe is real today. Thriving instead of surviving. Our vision is based on the world we want, not the one we're currently in. We seek to transform, not simply react. We want our people to thrive, not just exist. Think beyond the possible. Ashe?
Ashe.
Experimentation and innovation must be built into our work. Embrace the best tools, practices, and tactics, and leave those behind that no longer serve us. Ashe?
Ashe.
Evaluation and assessment must be built into our culture. Critical reflection must be a part of all of our work. We learn from our mistakes and our victories. Ashe?
Ashe.
Principal struggle can exist in a positive environment. We must be honest with one another by embracing direct, loving communication. Ashe?
Ashe.
Love, self-love is practiced in every element of all we do. Love and self-love must be a driver of our work and an indicator of our success. Without this principle and without healing, we will harm each other and undermine our movement. Ashe?
Ashe.
360-degree vision. We honor past struggles and wisdom from elders. The work we do today builds the foundations of movements of tomorrow. We consider our mark on future generations. Ashe?
Ashe.
Self-care means we build resilient spaces by budgeting time, energy, and resources for healing. Self-care is a regular, consistent, intentional, and essential practice. Ashe?
Ashe.
The most directly affected people are experts at their own lives and should be in leadership and should be in leadership at the center of our movement and telling their stories directly. Ashe?
Ashe.
I love that one because if we're going to have a movement, it's got to be us.
Yep.
Talking about us,
Yep.
for us. Training and leadership development should be fundamental. Our movement must constantly grow and leadership must constantly multiply.
Yes.
Before we take a break,
Ashe.
Ashe. I don't know if you look at our Facebook memories, and I'm thinking about, I recently saw one, I think it was our scholarship,
Yeah.
And what was that like with you while we're setting up for our break? What was that like for you stepping out of the space of hands up, don't shoot, no justice, no peace? And we made a transition to talking about our young people that are in college. And just because you're in college doesn't mean that you made it. All right. You haven't finished
You're
yet.
about to go into debt.
Right. So what was it like for you organizing and planning that?
It was awesome. Like, I don't know what I expected when I first started protesting and stuff like that, but I definitely didn't expect, and you can see it across other activism groups, they don't do stuff like that. And I heard that we're going to do a scholarship, and I'm looking around like, who's from where? Where's the money coming from? And all of a sudden, people were helping out.
Yeah.
We got submissions from kids
That's
that
right.
actually were now thinking about this versus just, I'm going to be mad and angry. I want to take some time, because anything you take time with and let yourself heal and think and stuff, you find other ways. Than at the time, it was big just to kind of, show all these police doing these things to African Americans, but there was no aftercare. So this was us developing, just like with our theaters and our forums, aftercare for after the protest. And I thought it was really inspiring.
All right. Hey, listen, family, we're going to take a short break. We're going to come back, and we're coming back with Brother Rahwae.
Yeah, but
right.
Before that commercial break, I want to give a special shout out and birthday shout out to Brittany Moore.
What?
Yeah,
all right,
today is
okay.
Brittany Moore's birthday. She was one of the official signers for our second Black Lives Matter Awards.
Yeah.
So shout out to you, Brittany Moore.
All right, we need to Have her on. All right.
Yeah, she need to come on.
All right. Okay. Yeah. All right.
Get her out to my condo.
That's right. Hey, listen, this is the CSRN, our weekly podcast. We'll be right back.
Now you can get the same uncompromising truth you've come to expect from the Final Call newspaper on all your connected devices. Subscribe to the Final Call Digital Edition today. Go to subscribe.finalcalldigital.com.
Hey, I'm Dr. P. Not only am I a leadership coach, I'm a change agent and I'm a race scholar. I've used my study of race to dismantle systems and organizations, but I also use that to help you as the individual become a better leader for your families and for your community.
All right, we are back. This is the CSRN, our weekend review, and we have with us, man, a powerful, powerful brother here in the city of Toledo. And man, he's an educator. He's a mentor. He's one of our elders. Brother, okay, I know people like, well, who is he? All right. Could you introduce yourself? And man, what is it that you want us to know today?
Well, my name is Rahwae Shuman, as Brother Muhammad said, and I am not a native of Toledo. I moved to Toledo to go to graduate school, and I became active in community politics and educating our young people. So I'm several things. I'm an educator, as Brother Washington said. I'm an activist, a mentor, family man. So I wear several hats.
Listen, and he's humble too. And there's not many people in Toledo that I'm willing to sit at the foot and learn. And I normally mention three people that made Brother Washington, and I talk about Coach Ben Williams. I talk about Sister Mother Twyla Page. I talk about Minister Charles Muhammad. However, for the last 20 years, my neighbor here has definitely had done so much to make me who I am. So regardless what we protest for, in order for me to back up and shut up, you got to talk to Rahwae. You got to talk to Ben Williams. You got to talk to Charles Muhammad and Sister Twyla Page, all of them together. All right. If you want the combination to make me turn down, shut up, and go away, if those four are united, it's a great chance that I might be doing the wrong thing. All right. So, hey, listen, I wanted to put up a graphic. Man, I'm just so happy to have our brother here. We're talking about Kwanzaa.
Yes.
When did you first hear of Kwanzaa, and why do you think it's important for us to recognize it and understand it?
Well, I first celebrated Kwanzaa. I was an undergraduate student at San Francisco State University and active in the Pan-African Student Union. And in about 74, 75, because it began in 76 in LA.
Okay.
And first of all, it spread up the coast of California.
That's
first,
awesome.
And then it jumped to East Coast and the Midwest and over. But first it started in LA, spread up the coast to San Francisco, Oakland, Bay Area.
Wow.
So I was a Kwanzaa pioneer from, I would say, 1974, 75.
Wow.
The other thing is, why is Kwanzaa important? So Dr. Maulana Ron Karenga said that the purpose of Kwanzaa is to rescue and reconstruct our history. So that is the main focus, and that is the main reason we should study Kwanzaa.
Yes, sir. All right. Some of the frequently asked questions about Kwanzaa. So you're hearing it from Brother Rahwae. And between Brother Rahwae and Sister Diane Gordon, hey, we got Kwanzaa locked out, all right? I hear so many people saying, well, Brother Washington, I don't want to celebrate Kwanzaa because it's like another Christmas. So, and that's some of the things that I've heard,
Right.
and maybe some of the ignorant things I said myself, all right? Before I knew, I said a lot of things when I was lacking knowledge.
Mhm.
Is Kwanzaa a religion? Yes or no?
No,
Because that's, so you're hearing it from Brother Rahwae.
it's not a religious. It's a non-religious holiday.
All right. Another frequently asked question that I get about Kwanzaa, that is it a political movement? Does it mean that if I participate in Kwanzaa, that I'm automatically a Democrat, or, you know?
It's not a political movement. However, it is political. It is not a political movement. However, it is political because it is to be used for political purposes to better our people. So it's not associated with any political party or affiliation.
Okay, all right. Another question is the words. People say, well, I don't know. I'm not going to say Umoja. I'm not going to say Kujishagalia because they believe that Kwanzaa started in Africa. So and I'm just saying these are the things that I've heard.
Yes.
And some of the things that I've said.
Yes.
All right.
Yes.
They think that since it started in Africa, then it doesn't belong to them. What do you say when people say things like that?
Well, Kwanzaa is Kiswahili, which means first fruit. So the word originated in Africa, and the concept of an agricultural festival originated in Africa. But the idea of Kwanzaa is African American. So it didn't originate in Africa. The word originated in Africa, but the concept and the holiday, the structure that was developed by Dr. Ron Karinga, Maulana Ron Karinga.
All right. With me, I'm memorizing, but I've got the paper here. All right.
Yes.
With me, I have some of the starting on December 26th
Correct.
through January 1st. Could you go over the Nguzu Saba, the 7 principles, if you don't mind?
Yes.
And what do they mean to you?
Well, briefly, Nguzu means principles, and Saba means 7. So the principles are a framework for solving our own problems. So Kwanzaa is not just to be celebrated or implemented for 7 days, it's to be implemented the year round. And these core values, principles, are our guiding models. So the first principle, by no accident, is Umoja. All of these words are Kiswahili. I would recommend that all Black people learn an African language.
That's right.
Because language frames your thought patterns. So if you speak English, you're forced to think like a European. And if you speak Swahili, you are forced to think like an African. So I would strongly recommend all African Americans to learn an African language. Swahili is an easy, natural language. It's a Black language. It's our language. And also visit Africa. So the first principle is Umoja, by no accident, unity. That is essential to everything else. So Umoja means oneness or unity. The second principle is Kujichagulia, which means self-determination, which is a big principle now. We need self-determination. We are at the mercy of all other races.
That's right.
Kanye West showed that he thought he was a billionaire, but it wasn't his money. So we need to have our own money. And that way, people can't pull the rug out from under us. So Kujichagulia means self-determination. It means speaking for yourself, choosing your own leaders, choosing your own name, determining your own destiny. The third principle is Ujima, which means cooperative, collective work and responsibility. In Africa, that would mean when it's time to harvest your crop, I'll help you. When it's time to harvest my crop, you help me.
That's right.
I'll help you build your house, you help me build my house. The fourth principle, which we need desperately, is ujamaa, which means cooperative economics, which means that we should support our own Black businesses. It's been 400 years, and we still don't run our own economy.
That's right.
That's a fatal flaw. And we know that the economic system is arrayed against us. We know that we are turned down for loans. We can't get big money to start big things. We weren't given home loans. That's the entryway to building wealth. We know all these things, but we are free. So despite all of that, we have to overcome those things. And the way to do that is through cooperative economics. Let's start our own banks, like the one here in Toledo, and loan our own self the money to start our own business.
That's right.
So the next principle is Nia, which means purpose. The purpose of Kwanzaa is, and all of us, is to leave our communities in a better shape than it was when we found it. The sixth principle is Kuumba. Kuumba means creativity, which means using what you got to get what you want.
Yes, sir.
And the seventh principle, and that is no accident, it is the last principle. The first is Umoja, the last is Imani, which is faith. And faith is important because without faith, none of the other principles are possible. So faith is the binding element that holds us together as a people. Faith is the same as gravity is to the universe. Faith is to humankind as gravity is to the universe. Now, that's a profound statement.
Yes, sir.
That means that faith is the binding element, just like gravity binds the universe together. So those are the seven principles. 7 was chosen because 7 in African religion and philosophy means speech, and it means perfection. It means a combination of male and female.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful. You just mentioned you've been to Africa?
I've been to East Africa and West Africa.
Wow. I've only been out of the continental United States twice. Once was, I don't even know if that counts. Well, we went to the Bahamas on a cruise and went to Canada.
Mm-hmm.
All right. And when I was in Canada, seeing the nation has its own flag, you know, its own laws, its own money. And you go into Africa, seeing nations with their own flag.
Yes. It's a certain feeling of freedom.
Wow.
I've been to Kenya, which is East Africa, and I've been to Senegal, which is a Muslim country. And particularly when I went to Senegal, I noticed that the Senegalese have a sense of freedom that we don't have here in America, that they're free in their own country. They don't fear the police don't abuse them. They're free, and they have that sense of freedom, and they take it for granted. But both countries, when I went to Kenya, it was varied. Some people saw me as an American with American dollars, and some people saw me as a brother. You know, so now in Senegal, which is a Muslim country, which is where a lot of us came from, they were highly aware of that. And I got a lot of different responses. Senegal has a unique flavor, and I want to go back there. It's a Muslim country, but it's a unique Muslim country. But I went to Gorée Island in Senegal. I stood at the door of no return, where our people left and went on that slave ship. I stood in that castle where they held people, and there's a church on top of the slave pen. The hypocrisy of it all. But I was walking around Gorée Island. This very poor man came out, had nothing but some pants on out of his little hut. And I was dressed in all white, and I had a red, black, and green flag around me. I had a fez, an African crown on.
Yes, sir.
He said, "Hey, you, where are you from?" I said, "I'm from America." He came over to me, and he started talking to me. He said, it was a very emotional conversation. He said, we've been waiting on you. And I told him, I said, yeah, they took me away 400 years ago. And 400 years, this was in 2019. Wow. And in 400 years, I came back. He called his wife. His wife came out of the little hut with a cell phone, blew me away.
Wow.
With a cell, and took a picture of it. So those are the kinds of experiences that I had. Man, varied. Some people saw me and exploited me, overcharged me. They saw me as dollar sign.
Yes, sir.
Other people saw me as a brother. And so it was a mix.
That's beautiful, and I think that's on my wife's bucket list.
Oh, you have to.
Yes,
You
sir.
have to. You have to go. I would tell you it's a spiritual feeling for the pilot to be black, everybody to be black. And when you land in a black-owned country, a black-run country, it's a feeling. I have dust on a pair of my shoes from Senegal that I won't take off.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Before we take a break, because we're going to come back and Jody and I are going to talk about some of the things that's coming up. I wanted to talk about, all right, it says, let's celebrate Kwanzaa.
Yes.
We've got the 26th through January 1st. This is going to be at the Frederick Douglass Community Center.
Correct. From December 26th to January 1st. The first night, Brother Muhammad will be speaking on Umoja Unity. The second night, I would be speaking on Kujichagulia, Diane Gordon, who's a Kwanzaa pioneer, along with myself. So we'll have a dynamic lineup. And
That's
we
right.
want to encourage the people to come out to the Douglass Center December 26th to January 1st. We'll have a Kwanzaa event every night, and on the last night, we'll have a Karamu, which is a festival.
All right. There was something else that Miss Gordon had said about vending. My night is the first night, so I'm looking for some vendors that would like to vend for free at no cost. So if you're setting up, I think we're going to probably have Jody Summers, a child of the system, spoken truth, Tears of the Wounded. He's going to have a table, and we also asked Jody if he would also be a part of our creative expression to give a spoken word on that day. And I'm looking to have a very, very special and unique person to give our values message. Unlike anything else that's been done, that's going to be a surprise until Diane Gordon tells me. You better tell me who it is.
I want to say one thing. I know we're about to go. But for Kujichagulia, this whole idea of Kanye West losing $2 billion, there should be a response to that. The niggas, the hip hop, who call themselves niggas, you know what I'm talking about. Why don't y'all do something about that? Why don't you protest Adidas? Why don't you burn your Adidas gear? You know what happened to their stock? They lose $1 billion in a day, just like Kanye did. So you talk all this among yourselves, but when it's time to do something, you scatter.
Yeah.
So why don't you do something like that?
Yes, sir. And
All right.
and no, that's why we're here.
That's just one thing. I got plenty of ideas.
You know, I stand with Kanye. I stand with.
Kanye, when he said slavery was a choice, he lost me. Now, I'm going to be honest. And when he said white lives matter and George Floyd, it wasn't knee on his neck. But unity, we have to come together behind him. And
That's right.
People don't respect us. That's why they did him the way they did. You see, when he said slavery was a choice, didn't nobody react to that.
That's right.
So what he said has been validated by the response he received. He said that Jews were powerful, and they are. I'm not employed. They can't take $1 billion from me. I'll say it. They do control the media, and they do control an inordinate amount of power. And it was demonstrated. Look at what happened to him for saying that.
That's right.
And most of the people, the niggas, are scared because they got Jewish money too. The only two people I saw defending Kanye West were Dave Chappelle and Minister Farrakhan. The rest of them ducked Jay-Z. Where all his buddies at now? So that's all I have to say.
Well, it's beautiful that you mentioned that, because one of the things that's going to happen, if the universe permits, on December 17th, we're planning on showing that documentary from Hebrews to Negroes, because it's the truth told in that documentary, and the things that Kanye West said that really disrupted so
They
so
don't
much.
They don't want to say that.
Right.
What is it that when black people say that they're Hebrews, that you can say you anything?
Yes, sir.
So when you say you Hebrew,
Right.
they gonna come after you. You can
Right.
say you African, you a Negro.
Yep.
You can say you Asiatic, but when
Yep.
you say you a black Hebrew,
Well,
they don't like that.
well, in reality, we're zeroing in on who we are, and
And who
also
they are.
and who they are,
Or pretend to be.
and that's
Yeah.
right, and
Yeah.
that's the problem.
Yeah.
So what we're gonna do, we've already acquired the video, the documentary. Let me put some art up there while I'm saying this. At Sanger Branch Library, we've got 100 seats. So we'll put our event page up soon for this. We got 100 seats. It's a 3-hour documentary, and we're going to show the documentary without comment. All right. I don't need to set it up. I don't need to black-splain anything for us. And I don't need anybody else coming in there trying to white-splain it either.
Right.
We just want our people to see for themselves, all right, why they didn't take it down off of Amazon. We want people to see for themselves why they never went after the director, the producer of it, you know. And this documentary, it does show how some of those who are ahead in religion, Muslim, Christian, Jewish, had a hand in our demise here.
Oh, yeah.
And everybody's going to get a knock on their door. All right? Everybody. So come on out December 17th, 1:30 to 5, 3-hour documentary. We're going to run it all the way through. No stops, no lecturing or anything like that. No debating, because it can't be debated because the brother already made the film. All right. So, you know, so we want people to come out and judge for themselves. Hey, listen, Brother Rahwae, I want to thank you.
Okay, and we want to emphasize that vendors can come all 7 days, and there's going to be no charge, but we're going to do cooperative economics. If you have a good night or whatever, give us a donation. We're not going to charge you.
That's right.
Just give us a donation. That's the way it should be done.
That's right. And that's the way it will be done.
It will be.
You know, hey, listen, I want to thank you for joining
welcome,
us.
brother.
All right.
You're
Hey, we're going
welcome.
to take a short break and come back with our brother Jody Summers, tie up some loose ends, and man, be another one in the can. This is the CSRN, our weekend review. We'll be right back.
Did you know addiction is a disease, not a moral dilemma? The opioid epidemic and substance use have a major impact on communities of color and many people's lives. Wasion Wellness Recovery Support Center offers culturally relevant inpatient and outpatient behavioral health treatment and recovery support services to any Ohioan struggling with addiction, mental health, or finding sober-safe housing. We must recognize that treatment is available and accessible to all. If you are in need of treatment or want to find out more information, you can call 1-888-728-2713 to talk to someone or schedule an appointment.
Audio Jungle.
All right, we are back. This is the CSRN, our weekend review podcast, where we talk about some of the things we've done last week, the things that we got going on right now, some of the things that we got coming up in the future. Really, we were talking about Kwanzaa, and that's December 26th through January 1st at the Frederick Douglass. Doors are going to be opening up at 5 o'clock. If you would like to vend, get a hold of me or get a hold of us, CSRN, put something in our inbox. If it's Black, if it can benefit our community, give us a call. No charge for vending. However, if you make some money, come on now. You know we're gonna pull up on you, but with love. Hey Jody, we got a couple more minutes left. I really wanted to go over some loose ends, go over your book, and also some of the things that you've been involved in lately.
Shameless plug. Okay, now I can hear me. I'm just everywhere, a little bit of everywhere, and doing some stuff, loose ends and stuff. I'm looking at my stuff. Last time we were here, I was getting ready to go on to perform at Lucille's, which is a private, kind of public jazz and nightclub here in Toledo, inside of Toll House, which is a private membership club. But for shows and stuff, they let everybody come in, and I was the feature along with a whole bunch of awesome poets. Thanks to Rhonda Sewell at the Toledo Art Museum. She initially started it.
Yeah, you good?
Okay,
I'm hearing you good.
She initially started its Love Jones Redux because this is the 20th year of the Love Jones movie. Okay. So she went with that theme, and there's been several. I believe Hunter Prey hosted one. I cannot think of the person that hosted the one before.
Does Rhonda do spoken word?
Not that night. I'm not sure. Now you just got my gears working for next time we meet up, because she also greenlit me on a project that's going on next year at the Art Museum. So
we have her number. We can call her. We can call her up. All right.
Call her. We actually gonna have to get her to come on the show. Talk
that'd
about
be
what
good.
She's got going on at the Art Museum and how she's infusing some culture into the stolen artifacts. But
now we're uninvited, but it's all good. No, Rhonda, you know us. You know how we do, Rhonda.
But yeah, I'm honored to be one of the features and to stand up there on stage with Sierra Leone, who is one of our national poets out of Dayton. She was actually speaking with Hunter Prey, Joni, and some other people at Scott earlier that day, and she just happened to show up to the Love Jones Redux and performed. I got her. If you look on my reels or videos, you'll see some of the performers: Nate Hicks, Keisha Renee. It was just an awesome night. That's my profile picture right now. It's gonna switch, because from there, again, I do a lot of stuff. I try and be as many things as possible in my community. I'm not there for attention. I'm not there because it's a photo op or something like that. Right. I'm there because it's important to me. I didn't write these books, create this art, take these offices, activists, and all that stuff because I wanted to be seen, but I wanted to give somebody a point of reference. I've been listening to a lot of Toby. I cannot pronounce his name, and I'm not going to mess it up. But as a kid growing up, I didn't have a point of reference. There wasn't the Black people that I saw on TV were educated. or had money or had both of their parents or family and stuff like that. There wasn't nobody out of the hood except for activists, except for rappers or stuff like that. And most of that was the glorification of staying stuck in the street. So I heard him say it too on his thing, but honestly, as a lot of people know me, that's what my goal was to give myself 10 years and to do everything as possible. As long as I was doing something, whether it be helping out at a soup kitchen or performing at a once-in-a-lifetime performance, I'm giving you a point of reference that, hey, that little chubby black dude up there and stuff that nobody really knows is doing something I only dreamed of. And that's why I turned my little character,
that's awesome,
from the artwork into an actual author.
Wow.
And I told somebody and they laughed. They were like, what are you talking about? I turned the character that I drew into an illustrator. So now he is living history, is writing his first book.
That's awesome. Okay.
Hopefully to inspire somebody or piss somebody off. Either way, to get them to do something. I also went to, because I went on a little tangent there, but I also went to see Mr. Shuman at his Change Academy and Dose of Reality, which is actually a building downtown. We've been in talks with Marcy Kaptur and a few other politicians about getting funding for it because our current administration, Mr. Wade, saw no need for it. And now we have a murder happening every single weekend between teens and kids. And he wanted to add us. He wanted to kind of come to the table until his issue didn't pass. But that is why I do everything. I get to sit and talk to kids that were my age, because I was a bad kid. I've been about this big all my life, and that was intimidating to a lot of people. I read books. I listened to classical music. I was always quiet until you found something that interests me. So I applaud Mr. Shuman in trying to do something to these youth and letting me come in to sit with them and talk to them. When I'm there, yes, Dose of Reality is interesting, but I grew up, I had a military foster parent. So I'm somewhat still triggered by that, but I understand the point of it because until I met him, nobody spoke to me like that. Nobody told me that some things was not an option, that you are going to make mistakes, but your mistakes don't define you. So I get to go in once a month and meditate with them. I'll give them crystals and artwork. One of the classes, I've had books that I've given them out of the Lost Storyteller. And I've only seen kids come back twice. So and I always let them know I don't want to see you next session.
That's right.
And so far, that's been good. When I leave, they're holding their crystals, they're closing their eyes. Even
that's awesome.
If they're doing push-ups and stuff to figure out their happy place.
That's right.
Not somebody else's made up happy place, but theirs. That's something I didn't get as a kid. It took me nearly 30 years to find it. But I'm here now. So shout out to him. Got to speak to Marcy Kaptur and stuff because I cannot say go vote if I'm not willing to make the sacrifices to actually see what these politicians are doing. Go to even one session of city council. A lot of people's like, oh, they're crooked and stuff. You know, we've been saying that for decades, yet you still elect them. Or you choose to be silent and don't vote. So the people that they pay or the people whose families are invested in the voting still get them elected.
That is correct. That's how it goes.
Nothing happens. It's another thing I have kind of issues with woke culture and calling people kings and queens, because when you really look at it, I don't want subjects. I want to be standing side by side with people, not looking up, not looking down. You are not beneath me or above me. You are my equal, my human, the person that I'm supposed to be, my village and tribe. So a lot of stuff has changed last year. And again, shameless plug, that's all in this book.
All right. Can I see that book?
Yeah.
All right. This book, we're going to have to get some really, some good graphics.
Yeah. I'll probably send you some of the photos.
Yeah. Send some photos. That way we could put it on our, we can add it to the roll.
Yeah.
Just as we do Bike Rides Matter, or we just put up the Kwanzaa.
Yep.
We need to also put the book up too. All right.
Yep. I'll send you some photos.
Yeah. This is the outcome. Why am I talking about the book? Because I saw it being made before it was made. And before he even wrote a word, there were some things going on with him. So when he first started writing, it was just on regular paper, stapled together. And if you were to look at the book, you would dismiss it. And a lot of us dismissed it in the beginning because we can only see something that has a value if it looks like this. But when it was in its embryonic stage, we were like, well, it just looks like this guy writing in pen on his piece of paper.
Scribbling in some notebooks.
But here's the thing. He could care less. I was going to say something else that he didn't give, but he didn't care what people thought of it. He kept going until he's got books here, right? We stream this live from Mott Brent's library, and Mott Brent's library has one of the best staffs ever. They just lay out the red carpet for us to allow us to set up everything that you see here. If you ever saw some of our behind the scene posters, and they just lay it out for us. And he has this display right here in the library.
Yep.
Great job, brother. Great job.
And,
Go ahead.
Well, as he said, this is my 10th book. I just got confirmation last night that the editing process of my 11th book, which is an anthology in New York for the New Yorican Poetry Cafe, is being put together. I already have done 12. I'm just waiting to give this one time. And then 13, 14 are also in the works. So when I was first writing books, people were like, well, you need a publisher, you need this person, you got to be popular, you got to drive. And I said, no, I'm
not doing none of that.
Right.
All right. That's beautiful, man.
And even still to this day, I don't drive. I live in the environment that I write about. I haven't moved away yet. I am going to have to move at some point in time, because if you stay stuck in the same situation, you won't make no change. But I live in the environment that I write about. I'm with my community. It's kind of weird going out and hearing so many people know my name or know some fracture of me, whether it be this book or The Tears of the Wounded or Lost Storyteller or the erotic book, or knowing that I cook, knowing that I build things. It's all encompassing. As he announced himself, I am a Buddhist, Buddhist Safe, which is kind of like Buddhist priest in that belief system. And we are taught to give back. This year, as you see me growing my face and stuff, I'm doing another Black Santa Claus. From the moment I wrote my first book, I said, even if I gain a penny, $1, I'm going to find a way to give back. That's not a tax write-off. A lot of people do stuff and, oh yeah, we're giving back to the kids, but it's a huge tax write-off at the end of the year. So you're not really giving back. You're just, kind of trying to make your taxes a little bit better. And for me, I don't operate that way. If I feel that I have enough money in my account for the first couple of years, I just cleared, because I have multiple accounts, but I cleared them out and found nonprofits to give to. Now people see me giving out crystals and books and stuff, but that is because it's not for me. It's not about me. It's the fact that I got here to the point where I'm not worried about bills. I'm not worried about food. I'm not worried about what my next move is. Let me help you. Let me be that first person to give you a crystal or a book or some artwork from a guy who sits in a museum, and rich people pay thousands of dollars for his art, and you get it for free because I want to inspire you.
That's beautiful.
I want you to not have to go through the trials and tribulations I did to get here.
All right. Hey, look, I'm about ready for 5 minutes. We're going to take a short break.
Yep.
Before we do that, I do want to say that we have had a lot of killings in Toledo. Black men, women, and children that are losing their lives to violence in the city. And I just wanted to shout out some of the organizations that are helping our youth. The Frederick Douglass Community Association, they have a lot of programs going over there. So give Reggie Williams, the executive director, a call, and he can plug you in. Community United, Gutter Dave and Alexia Sims. Matter of fact, they're having an event right here at the at the Mott Branch Library, look on Alexia's page, all right, Alexia Sims, and find out what Community United is doing.
I'm go share it to our page.
All right, Center of Hope, Dr. Tracy Perryman, who helps us in so much. Dose of Reality, our brother Sean Mahone, Change Academy, the Padua Center. I think Deidre Brown is at the Padua Center.
Yeah.
So the Padua Center has never been $150. It is now with our sister there. Check out Fame Studios. If you have a young person that loves to dance, that loves the arts, check out the program. Our brother Tremaine Rayford
and Shawanda Johnson, actually.
And Shawanda Johnson, the Fame Studios, right there, the Purple Building, right there on Central, near Douglas, and the Impact Program with Ty Cleveland. So if you do your due diligence, there are people already making a difference for our young people. Search them out. If you don't have children, find a way to donate. If you can't donate, find a way to volunteer. These are some great programs that need our help. There's no use of trying to have another big program or Fame Studios when we got one. All right, let's support that. And maybe if we support that, that'll help Shawanda do more.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, definitely. Did we speak about the violence interrupters too, and David Bush?
Right. The Save Our City campaign. What's going to be happening soon? After every incident dealing with gun violence, Dave, myself, and others are going to meet and provide resources to that community, also to that family. We can make a difference. There's a lot of us that are insulated from a lot of things. Some of us have done well. I haven't, but some of us have done well that we can afford to give back. And that's what I want to do. So I'm glad that we had Dave Bush on with the interrupters. We used to call them the violence interrupters.
Yep.
They chopped off the violence part. So now it's the interrupters and the Save Our City campaign, along with a lot of other organizations that are joining them. So CSRN, myself, and others are going to be out there too.
And Avis with the Brothers United.
Hey, we're going to play their commercial. Yeah. So our sister Avis Files, the Brothers United. I think it's Brothers and Sisters United now.
Yeah.
So, hey, look, let's take a short break. We're going to come back. This is the CSRN Week in Review. We'll be right back.
Pathway Incorporated Brothers United program believes that children are important. Every day we support and advocate for fathers because when children have involved fathers, the whole community thrives. The fathers that come into the Brothers United program are mostly young fathers who are primarily gang members or drug dealers or those involved in lots of trauma from the time when they were youth until now. The program has fatherhood classes which teach you about your role as a father, the importance of being a father, healthy relationships, how to co-parent and work better together with your co-parent, and then economic stability, how to get a job, how to keep a job. It is so important for fathers to learn to take care of their children holistically, not just emotionally, not just physically, but financially as well, because children need a holistic approach.
I really just needed help with really being a better father and looking for a job to be able to support my kids.
Some of the problems I was facing when I joined Brothers United was communication with my children. Had some time apart from each other for a while, so they gave me the tools to really get back in communication with them.
Fathers will come into our program with their heads down. 2 weeks later, their heads are up. 3 weeks later, they're laughing and talking. 4 weeks later, they're building a bond. And by the time we get to 8 weeks, they're saying, hey, we want to stay here. What can we do to stay connected?
It gave me a better perspective on how to look at things from other people's point of view. You know, sometimes us as men, we get caught up in being prideful and arrogant, thinking we don't need the help. We do. And we just have to put our pride, selfishness, and arrogance to the side. And when the help is there, take it.
Hope plays the most important role in everything that we do. because we have to have hope. We have to remember that fathers are important, and we have to not only say it, but we have to live it. We have to breathe it. We have to do it. We have to convey it to everyone.
Let's get a BU Nation on 3, fellas. 1, 2, 3. BU Nation!
The dads give us hope. The dads supply for us on the days when it gets hard. On the days when we've seen more violence than we ever want to see. On the days when we've lost some dads to jail or to murder, they give us hope. And so the hope that lives can change, if you invest in them, if you believe in them, then lives can change.
Brothers United changed my life, let's say, because of where I come from, what I've been through. I learned to understand it is help out there. Don't be scared to ask for it. If you don't reach, you can't grab. That's it.
They made me more employable, more desirable by employers, which in turn helped me provide for my family and provide for my children and my grandchild. So it makes me a better man, a better father, and a better example.
It showed me like how to be better to my kids, so I went and got custody of my son. My son been with me for a couple months now. So this showed me how to be a better parent all around, just a better man, period.
Initially, I didn't know that it could change men's lives. I didn't know that fathers could change. But it's amazing to me when fathers come back a year later, 2 years later, and tell us thank you. Or they'll make a Facebook post and say, look at what I'm doing now. It's amazing to me about the level of work that we've been able to do and the lives that we've changed in just a short period of time. And the fathers who come back and say, thank you, I needed you, and you were there.
Shout out to Brothers United, man. Be you.
All right, we are back. This is the CSRN Weekend Review, our weekly podcast, which started out as video minutes. And when we met in person, we never did things like the old way of running meetings where we'd adjourn and hit a gavel down, or somebody would take physical minutes. When we were done with our meeting, we just had somebody report out. We set up the cell phone, say, hey, Jody, say what happened, or Ruth, say what happened, and then we'll say what happened. So now that we're not meeting in person to plan, a lot of the things that you hear us planning and talking about, yeah, we kind of plan it with you. We were just talking about Kwanzaa. We want you to show up on December 26th through January 1st. And let's put that up there one more time. That's Kwanzaa at Frederick Douglass, 1001 Indiana. I know that address because I was working there for about 20 years. And doors open at 5. The first night is my night, which is Unity. So you know it's going to be lit. We've got a lot of good stuff for that day. And every day is going to be awesome. And also, vending is no cost. All right, no cost whatsoever to vend. So if you want to vend, if you are a Black vendor and you have some things that you know that will be good for our community, inboxes, we'll put you on, bring your table and your whole setup, and it's going to be a great turnout for Kwanzaa. Also, we talked about the documentary From Hebrews to Negroes. This book and documentary has stirred up a lot of controversy regarding who we are as a people. Well, we're the original people. We came with the planet. So whatever's out there, we originated it anyway. All right. Even we were the first Negroes. We were the first Hebrews. So we were the first Christians. We were the first Muslims. We were the first everything. Everything in humanity learned from us. So everybody, whatever you see now is a remix from us. All right. So those are some of the things that we got coming up. Hey, Jody, listen, we're about to close out with 5 minutes of heat. and I know that you had a poem that you did or some spoken word that you did last week. What do you have for us this week?
Well, one moment. So we're going to go back to the big book of truth from last year, which is interesting. On the table there. I'm getting my first payout.
Okay.
And I want to thank everybody. I've given myself a couple months not to go on my page because, again, numbers don't matter to me. I've been bestseller the moment I sold my first manuscript.
That's great.
Which hadn't even got done printing at the library. And then a friend of mine, Danny, was there. She saw me. She was like, "I'm buying this." I'm like, "It's not even done printing." So I've been a bestseller since then.
That's awesome.
But, I'll see my numbers because I still have to go on. I'm making this book, unlike my other ones, I have full and complete creative control over it. Yes, I wrote the other ones and all that stuff, but you know, you learn some stuff as you get older. So with this one and all subsequent ones, I can do anything I want to them. I can go on and make them free if I wanted to. But so pick a page, any page from, let's say, page 10 to 60.
All right. I'm going to pick from 10 to 60. I'm going to pick 45. And also I see our brother Omar Gent came into the studio. So I'm pick 45. Did you want me to bring in brother Omar?
We could bring in brother Omar, and I just see the poem that it is. It's so weird being an author.
All right. Hey, listen, family, we are inviting our brother Omar Gent from freeourbrothers.com. This brother, we met him maybe maybe 5 or 6 years ago, freeourbrothers.com. Hey, let's bring our brother on.
Hey, peace, brothers.
Peace. How you feeling, my brother?
Feeling good. Sorry about the delay.
Hey, listen, to wrap things up, but it's all good. Hey, what we wanted to know for our audience, who you are and why is the freedom movement so important to you? Because listen, you could easily not do anything and nobody would know. All right. So for you, for our guests and the people that are watching this for the first time, who are you? And why is the freedom movement so important for you, Brother Omar?
First and foremost, all praises due to Creator, and thank you for bringing me on this beautiful platform and everybody who works to keep it going. Man, my name is Omar Jeremy Gent, founder of freeourbrothers.com. I was wrongfully convicted for crime I did not commit, but in this type of judicial system, it does not matter. It's explained on my website, freeourbrothers.com. There's a railroad machine going on in Colorado, not just in Colorado, but all over the nation. But my website, freeourbrothers.com, points you to the specifics of what's going on in this state as far as the no indictment, legal lynching / slavery machine. And it's just to wrap it up, I know you getting towards the end of your show. The freedom movement is very important, you know, to me because the ancestors, the great men and women, the youth from the past, you know, they laid down so much of the blueprint for us through, you know, their struggles, you know, behind the prison walls, in the streets, in the courts, dealing with various institutions. So it's very important that we, you know, tune into those struggles and sacrifices that were made so we can make our advancements.
All right. Another question. How has it been for you being recently, I don't want to say recently released from one prison to kind of another, you know, it is what it is. Brother, how have you been progressing so far?
That's a good question. It's the day at a time. You know, you're I'm isolated from everyone I know and love, you know, but I know that the Creator has a plan, you know, through his active will or permissive will. So, you know, he's allowing certain things to happen to me in my life, you know, so who am I to complain? A lot of brothers, I witnessed them actually die behind those walls. So I could be one of those brothers that died behind the walls. But obviously, he has me still here talking to you, looking at you, me looking at myself, looking like a African priestess with this crazy hair I got going on. African priest, you know what I'm saying? But just the fact that I'm able to get to this wall and see and talk, get beyond this. It's a reason that we're here. So somebody can hear, somebody can learn, somebody can feel and grow.
What is it that keeps you from giving up? What is it that keeps you pushing forward, brother? Because we have Jody and I were just talking about how a lot of us start out in this thing a couple of years and we tapping out. What is it that keeps you, man? What is it that keeps you active and motivated, brother?
Man, just the fact that I'm able to come and talk to like-minded people on this platform, that's one of the great things, makes you feel, that you're not alone. First and foremost, the creator, he's always there. His encouragement through his word and in his the way he talks to my spirit and lets me know to keep my eyes on him. Also, I was watching videos last night of the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, man, and the way he just talks and lays everything down, and especially with him. Not to say he's not bringing it now, but when he was younger, you just see just so much more of the fire. He has the fire now. Don't get me wrong, but those speeches when in his younger days, man, it was just like wow. And then you see the progression of him to become more and more of a better speaker, a better leader, a better man. It's amazing to see stuff like that. And I think of Malcolm, Martin, Harriet Tubman, the great men and women, and that inspires me. Listening to Brother Jody's spoken word, following his site, just things like that. Coming on, talking to you, that encourages me.
Yes, sir. And one of the things that we see, we were blessed to see with Minister Farrakhan is his consistency from the 60s to now.
It's a long time, brother. Woo, man.
Right. And most of our leaders that weren't approved by our former slave masters and their children don't live that long.
Mm-hmm.
Most of our leaders that aren't selected by our former slave masters and their children, they may end up being television hosts, reality stars.
Shutouts.
Okay, I was trying to just
shutouts. I mean, I didn't mean to. Excuse me.
It's all good. It's all good. Look, I'm trying to be older than Farrakhan. You the younger. All right. So, hey, it is what it is. You gonna get it one way or the other.
Yeah.
So it is something that we can actually see someone that's consistently stood for our people, all of our people, not just Muslims, not just Muslim men, not just Muslim men living in America, not just Muslim, it's not about that. And when I saw proof of that with the Million Man March, how our unity, not uniformity, we don't need to be uniform. The last time I wore a uniform was when I worked at Wendy's. All right. But we're talking about unity. All of us have something different to bring. The fact that Jody and I are here bringing something to the table as a Buddhist and a Muslim, but we still bring the heat. All right. We still bring the heat, and it's undeniable that impact that unity has on our community. And you can't unsee that. So it's beautiful that we were able to see him as a young man, see him in his 60s, see him in his 70s next year. If it be the will of Allah, he'll be 90 and not retiring. We don't retire and go to Florida. All right. No, sir. We stay on our post until properly relieved. My last question to you, brother, because I know they're going to start flicking the lights on and off here. Your family, your dad, how's your dad? How is he dealing with you being there, but kind of you're on the way. But how's your dad, and how's your dad taking this right now?
Be honest with you, that's something I'm still figuring out. Excuse me, that's figuring out because it seems like one day he's kind of accepting, and the other day he's just kind of like, well, he don't want me around this environment, But this is the county where I was wrongfully convicted, So I understand his concerns and it's his fears and but he knows that God is with me, brought me this far.
Yeah. And however, I'm a parent, and if you were my son, I would be saying the same thing. As a dad, loving his son, and he's probably like, "Listen, son, be great where you are, but some environments don't even deserve a Omar Gent. But you know what? We're gonna make it happen. I love you, Father, and yeah, I would be feeling the same way. But God knows what's best, brother. So shout out to your father, brother.
Thank
you. Yes, sir. I want to transition. Yeah, I want to just shout out to your father. If your father didn't love you, he wouldn't say that. If your father was selfish, he would be like, yeah, come on home. I can't wait to see you. I want you around. But he sees something so valuable in you. And also he sees what's going on are you in Broward County?
Down in Palm Beach County.
Palm Beach County. He already
made me start game banging on Broward. No, this 561 Palm Beach County. It's a lot of beef with the area codes down there. I'm just trying to get out of that, man.
Yeah. Yourself, fool. All right. Yeah, but shout out. I understand where your dad's coming from. But you know what? I think that after you finish with this phase of your development, wherever you go, you're going to be powerful. You're going to be alert. You're going to be understanding of who's who. I don't believe that you're going to place yourself in a risky environment because you're so valuable now. We don't have many brothers coming out with their right mind. Man, just so valuable. So we would think very carefully where we're going to place this jewel that is Brother Omar Gent. Very carefully think where we're going to place him. It would be a waste to place him where his word would not be fruitful. So I'm with your dad, but I understand it as a dad with a beautiful son, because I got a beautiful son, and I want him to be where I believe he's going to thrive. But my son has his own mind, and my son knows where he wants to be too. And I'm going to have to accept what my son wants best for him. So yeah, I get it. Right. Had some dad feelings right there, Jody. Hey, Jody.
Getting his own revolutionary artwork and stuff going too over the years.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Hey, listen, we were talking about 5 minutes of heat. I'm going to mute your mic, Brother Omar. We were talking about 5 minutes of heat, and of your book, I was going to pick from 10 to 60, and I picked 45.
Yep.
What was on 45?
So it's kind of interesting too. That year, and as I'm going out into the world and giving people their books, also before on my way here after my taxable, I want to give a shout out to somebody that is championed before all the pop-up shops and food truck stuff been going on. And unfortunately, tomorrow she's closing her doors. But Keitha Shears of Hotbox. I've been a supporter of hers since she was dragging around her barbecue truck on the trailer, and then got her building downtown and her second building. And, business, being an entrepreneur is hard. but she's given this city 7 years. So shout out to you.
That's right.
I'll see you tomorrow before I go into my taxable again. And she just got a book. So
beautiful.
In that, a lot of my city has my artwork. If you stop at a certain pole, you might see some of my graffiti.
Okay.
But in this, the second chapter is that year where I went through losing myself. Let's call it that. And you can see that in the progression of chapter 2 from the piece called Best Friend until the piece called Only Human. It's kind of like the inside mind of a therapist.
Yes, sir.
For pieces that I was upset about and through that whole year. But this piece is called Ray of Light, page number 45 in the hardcover. Might be 44 in the paperback because there's like a 1-page discrepancy because of size. But let's begin piece, Ray of Light. From stardust I come from, to stardust I'll return to one day. I've spent my entire life chasing after pieces of me that had already moved on to light their own way. I have given lifetimes of myself battling the darkness that surrounds me just to find someone who won't fade away. Every now and then, I hear a whisper of someone asking me to let them in. I start deconstructing walls and letting down barriers to loosen my boundaries and create borders that only they can cross. Not knowing that they just wanted to peek inside, see how I hold it all together, and why I do not give up on this ramshackle vessel I call my home. Before I know it, I begin destroying foundational walls and removing load-bearing structures, hoping that this time I won't be left in the dark alone again. Opening my door to peer out and find out it was only the whispering wind as I watch my ceiling come down, crumbling this hope I had for a genuine friend. From stardust I come from, to stardust I'll return to one day. I only know how brightly I shine when the darkness tries to take my joy away. Through darkest day and blackest night, I drop kick doors of opportunity for people to walk through, hoping that eventually one day one of those doors of obscurity and regulation to conform, through one of those doors of obscurity and regulation to conform, I will find the pieces of me I need. From stardust I come from, to stardust I'll return to one day. Alone in the darkness, I light others' way with a smile and a gentle reminder that your light is unique to you, and you should never be afraid of your luminosity today. In peace.
All right, and as always, we snap our fingers. All right, we snap our fingers. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Brother Jody. And I didn't mention was for anyone that like what we, you can hit like on our page, to share the content, or maybe even comment. This is our YouTube page right here. We're trying to get up to 100 subscribers. All right. I don't think it's going to be that hard, but we're getting there. We're getting there. And for anybody that wants to support us, you can support us through Cash App, CSRN 419, or PayPal, CSRN 419. Check us out on Twitter. Follow us on Twitter. Check us up on YouTube. Listen to us on Spotify. Like us on Facebook. And also follow us on Instagram. All right. We Black Lives Matter signs. We also have our Toledo Police Department signs. All right. So we would it all. Hey, brother. Thank you. Thank you, Brother Omar, for being here today.
Yes, sir.
And we're going to go ahead with our solidarity. I'm going to say I and take a couple seconds and say I. And close it out. If you can you say I?
I,
Your name.
Omar.
Jody,
Pledge to strive.
Pledge to strive.
pledge to strive.
To love my brothers and my sisters.
To love my brothers and my
Love
sisters.
my brothers and sisters.
As I love
As I love myself.
As I love myself.
I.
I,
Your name.
Omar.
Jay Summers.
Pledge to strive.
Pledge to strive.
To study myself.
Study to prove myself.
Study to improve myself.
Spiritually.
Spiritually.
Mentally.
Mentally.
Morally.
Morally.
And physically.
And physically.
And physically.
For the benefit
of myself.
Benefit of my
family.
My family.
my family.
And my people.
And my people.
I,
Your name.
Omar.
the system.
Pledge to
strive.
Pledge to
be a part of
To be a part of the solution.
the solution.
the process
The process.
and not the problem.
And not the problem.
I. Your name.
Omar.
Spoken truth.
Pledge to strive.
Pledge to strive.
To strive.
To give all that I can spare.
To give all that I can.
All that I can spare
Of my time.
of my time.
My strength.
My strength.
And energy. To achieve. The above said.
The above said.
Right, great job, brothers. Great job, man. And we did it again. Another podcast, another engagement with our community. Thank you so much, Brother Omar. Jody, holding it down. As always, all lives matter.
Black
lives matter. And Black lives can't matter. All lives matter. That's